You woke up this morning, walked to your kitchen, and made the same breakfast you've made for the last 20, maybe 30 years. It looks healthy. It feels responsible. It feels like you're taking care of yourself. But what if I told you that breakfast, the one sitting on your table right now, is silently coating your arteries with a sticky, waxy buildup, a buildup that increases your risk of a heart attack by up to 64%. And here's the part that will genuinely shock you. The worst offenders are not bacon and eggs. They are not fried food or red meat or anything you would expect. The worst offenders are the foods labeled heart healthy, the ones that millions of people over 65 eat every single morning without a second thought. Stay with me for the next 10 minutes, because what you are about to learn could change the length and the quality of your life. Now, before we go any further, I want to be clear about something. What you are going to hear in this video is not fear-mongering. It is not a fad. It is not something a blogger made up on the internet. This information comes directly from board-certified cardiologists, heart specialists, who have spent decades studying exactly what happens inside the arteries of patients over the age of 65. The physician whose research forms the backbone of this video has practiced clinical cardiology for over 28 years. He has treated more than 14,000 heart patients. He has published peer-reviewed research on diet-related arterial disease in seniors, and he has spoken at the American College of Cardiology annual conference. And the single most alarming pattern this doctor has seen over nearly 3 decades: the breakfast habits of patients who come in with blocked arteries, patients who thought they were doing everything right. Picture this. Margaret is 68 years old. She is active. She sees her doctor regularly. She takes her cholesterol medication like clockwork. Every morning, she starts her day with what she considers a heart-smart breakfast: a bowl of flavored instant oatmeal, a glass of orange juice, the pulp-free kind, 2 slices of whole wheat toast with low-fat margarine, and a low-fat fruit yogurt. Sound familiar? This is the breakfast of millions of American seniors, marketed as healthy, endorsed by food companies, and often recommended by well-meaning but outdated dietary advice. But here is the clinical reality. That breakfast can contain 47 to 72 grams of sugar, more than a can of Coca-Cola, plus arterial inflammation triggers, dangerous seed oils, and refined carbohydrates that spike insulin and accelerate plaque formation. Here's why this matters more if you are over 65. Arterial walls naturally stiffen with age, making inflammation far more dangerous than it was when you were younger. Insulin sensitivity declines after 60, meaning those sugar spikes cause more damage than they did at 40. And studies published in the Journal of the American Heart Association show that seniors who consume high glycemic breakfasts have a 38% higher rate of cardiovascular events within 5 years. And unlike a chest pain that sends you to the emergency room, this damage happens quietly, gradually, every single morning. By the time symptoms appear, fatigue, shortness of breath, chest tightness, the blockage may already be serious. Here is exactly what we are going to cover in the next 7 minutes. First, the 5 most dangerous breakfast foods for seniors over 65 and why each one is worse than it looks. Second, the specific ingredient hiding inside heart-healthy labels that cardiologists now say is far more dangerous than saturated fat. And third, a simple 3-step morning routine swap that one cardiologist says reduced arterial inflammation markers in patients by an average of 31% in just 90 days. I have saved the most important tip for last. It is the one most people completely overlook, and it may be the single most powerful dietary change a person over 65 can make for their heart. You do not have to give up a good breakfast. You just have to know which swaps to make, and after this video, you will. Before we get into the list, if you are new here, this channel is dedicated entirely to evidence-based health information for adults over 60. We do not sell supplements, we do not take sponsorships from food companies, and we never sensationalize. Just the facts your doctor may not have time to explain. If that sounds useful to you, hit subscribe and tap the bell so you never miss a new video. Alright, let us get into it. Number 1 on our list, and arguably the most surprising, is flavored instant oatmeal. Now, oatmeal is not the enemy. Plain, whole rolled oats are genuinely good for your heart. The beta-glucan fiber in whole oats has solid clinical evidence behind it. but flavored instant oatmeal, the kind in the individual packets, the kind that is easiest to make, is an entirely different product. A single packet of a popular maple brown sugar instant oatmeal contains 12 to 14 grams of added sugar. Many people eat 2 packets. That is up to 28 grams of sugar before 8 in the morning, before coffee, before anything else. For seniors, this matters because high glycemic foods that rapidly spike blood sugar, trigger a surge of insulin, which in turn promotes arterial inflammation. A 2022 study in the journal Nutrients found that repeated glycemic spikes in adults over 60 were associated with measurably increased levels of C-reactive protein, a key inflammatory marker linked to cardiovascular disease. The fix is simple. Switch to plain steel cut or rolled oats. Add your own flavor with cinnamon, which has anti-inflammatory properties, and fresh or frozen berries, which are low glycemic and high in antioxidants. This single swap takes the same amount of time and costs less money. Number 2. And yes, even the kind that says 100% juice, no added sugar. Here is something your breakfast tray at the hospital will actually confirm. Most clinical dietitians now advise cardiac patients to eliminate juice entirely, not limit it, eliminate it. Why? Because when you remove the fiber from whole fruit and concentrate the juice, you are left with a liquid that behaves almost identically to soda in your bloodstream. An 8-ounce glass of orange juice contains approximately 21 to 26 grams of sugar, equivalent to about 5 teaspoons, with virtually no fiber to slow its absorption. For someone over 65, this creates a rapid blood sugar spike that stresses the cardiovascular system first thing in the morning, when your body is already managing the natural rise in cortisol that happens at dawn. Research published in the British Medical Journal found that each additional daily serving of fruit juice was associated with a 7% increased risk of type 2 diabetes, and we know that diabetic range blood sugar is one of the most powerful drivers of arterial plaque. The fix: eat a whole orange instead. You get the vitamins, the antioxidants, and critically, the fiber that buffers blood sugar. Or simply drink water with a slice of lemon for flavor. Number 3 is one that surprises almost everyone: low-fat flavored yogurt. For decades, the low-fat label was synonymous with heart healthy, and for decades that advice, driven more by food industry lobbying than by rigorous science, led millions of people to unknowingly replace healthy fats with sugar. A standard 6-ounce container of popular low-fat strawberry yogurt contains 19 to 24 grams of sugar. Some popular brands contain more than 26 grams. That is nearly the full daily added sugar limit recommended by the American Heart Association for women. In a single container at breakfast. The mechanism of harm is the same: rapid blood sugar elevation, insulin spike, inflammatory response, arterial wall stress, and additionally, the beneficial probiotics that make plain yogurt genuinely good for gut and immune health are often reduced in heavily processed flavored versions. The fix: choose plain, full-fat Greek yogurt, add your own fresh berries and a small drizzle of honey if needed. You will get more protein, more probiotics, and dramatically less sugar. And the natural fat will keep you satisfied far longer, reducing the urge to snack on high glycemic foods before lunch. Number 4 combines 2 problems in one: commercial whole wheat bread and low-fat margarine. First, the bread. The words whole grain on a label are largely a marketing term. Most commercial whole wheat bread is made primarily from refined flour, with a small percentage of whole grain added. The glycemic index of standard whole wheat bread is nearly identical to white bread. A 2020 meta-analysis in Advances in Nutrition found that most Americans who believe they are eating whole grains are actually consuming highly processed products with minimal actual fiber or bran. 2 slices of commercial whole wheat bread carry a glycemic load that, for a senior with reduced insulin sensitivity, can produce blood sugar responses similar to eating a candy bar. Now, the margarine. For 40 years, butter was villainized, and margarine was promoted as the heart-healthy alternative. But many stick and soft margarines contain partially hydrogenated oils, a primary source of trans fats, as well as highly refined seed oils like soybean and canola oil, which have high omega-6 fatty acid content. Cardiologists increasingly recognize that chronically elevated omega-6 to omega-3 ratios, driven largely by seed oil consumption, promotes systemic inflammation, and systemic inflammation is a root driver of arterial plaque. The fix: if you enjoy toast, choose genuine whole grain sourdough. The fermentation process significantly lowers the glycemic impact. Top it with a thin layer of real butter or mashed avocado, both of which provide beneficial fats that support arterial health. The most important tip, and here it is, the tip I told you about at the beginning, the one most people completely miss. Number 5 is packaged granola. And the reason it is last, and the reason it matters most, is not just the sugar, though there is plenty of that. It is a specific ingredient found in granola. Most commercial cereals, protein bars, flavored oatmeal, and dozens of other so-called healthy breakfast products, that ingredient is highly refined seed oil. Specifically, the seed oils used to toast or bind granola clusters: sunflower oil, soybean oil, canola oil, and safflower oil. When these oils are processed at high heat, as they are in manufacturing, they oxidize, and oxidation produces toxic byproducts called aldehydes and lipid peroxides. These compounds, when consumed, directly damage the endothelial lining of your arteries. A landmark 2015 study from the British Heart Foundation found that heating seed oils produced aldehyde levels up to 200 times higher than the safety standards set by the World Health Organization. But here is what makes this so relevant specifically to seniors. Antioxidant defenses naturally decline with age, reducing your body's ability to neutralize these oxidative compounds. Arterial repair mechanisms slow after 65, meaning damage accumulates faster than it can be corrected. And most seniors eat these foods daily and have been eating them for years. This is why cardiologists who focus on senior health are now placing seed oil consumption at the center of their dietary recommendations. Above saturated fat, above sodium, above cholesterol. The fix is straightforward. The fix is: read your ingredient labels. Avoid any breakfast product whose first or second oil ingredient is sunflower, soybean, canola, or safflower oil. Replace with products made with olive oil, coconut oil, or no added oil at all. And for your morning meal, here is what a cardiologist-approved breakfast for seniors over 65 actually looks like. 2 eggs cooked in butter or olive oil rich in choline, which supports cardiovascular and cognitive health. 1/2 of an avocado, monounsaturated fat, potassium, and fiber. A small handful of walnuts or almonds, omega-3 fatty acids, and magnesium for arterial flexibility. Berries, blueberries, raspberries, or blackberries, the lowest glycemic fruits, and black coffee or plain green tea, both associated with reduced cardiovascular risk in long-term studies. This is not a difficult breakfast. It takes no longer to prepare than instant oatmeal. And according to research published in the European Heart Journal, a breakfast pattern like this was associated with a 31% reduction in cardiovascular event risk over a 5-year follow-up period in adults over 60. Let us quickly recap the 3 most important things to take away from today's video. Number 1. The biggest threat to your arteries at breakfast is not fat. It is hidden sugar and oxidized seed oils in foods marketed as heart healthy. Number 2. Flavored instant oatmeal, commercial orange juice, low-fat yogurt, commercial whole wheat bread, and packaged granola are the 5 most common offenders for seniors over 65. Number 3. Replacing these with whole eggs, avocado, berries, nuts, and plain yogurt is a change that cardiologists say can produce measurable improvements in arterial health markers within 90 days. Now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below with your age and 1 breakfast food from this list that you plan to swap out this week. I read every single comment, and your response helps me know what to cover next. If you found this valuable, and I genuinely hope you did, please share this video with a family member or friend over 60. This information could prevent someone you love from having a heart attack they never saw coming. And if you want to go deeper, our next video covers the 5 dinner habits that cardiologists say are just as damaging as anything at breakfast, including one that 70% of seniors do every single night without realizing it. That video is right here. I will see you there. And if you have not subscribed yet, now is a great time. New videos every week. Your heart health is worth 10 minutes.